It's a summer staple, setting up a picnic and sitting outside to eat. But as you go to enjoy that meal, you may hear some buzzing, as something else wants your food too. Now, I need to be completely honest with you, I'm not very confident on riding bikes, but now that the inner belt loop is open, I figured what better way to give it a shot than with an e-bike. Thank goodness I have a helmet on. Do they come with training wheels? There's not much math in this Pi Day story, just two women who have been running one business for years. Making some delicious take and bake pie. Those stories and a lot more coming up. Good morning and welcome back to Montana This Morning on this Friday, April 11th. I'm Hailey Monaco in for Augusta, joined by Miller. Good morning, Miller.
Hey, good morning, everybody. TGIF Haley.
Happy Friday.
As we head into the weekend, yeah.
Tonight on Q2, holding out hope.
Had last heard from her on Thanksgiving 2009.
Over a decade after a woman goes missing in Red Lodge, family and friends continue the search for her. Plus, with tariffs on everyone's mind, we tell you about one industry you may not have thought would be affected by them, and helping those in need.
That's one of the things I absolutely love about Billings. Everybody jumps in to help.
One group looking to make sure that every child has a full basket this Easter. The MTN News starts right now.
From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 530 News.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us on this Saturday. I'm Hailey Monaco. Holding out hope. That's what one family and friends are doing when it comes to an over-decade-old missing persons case in Montana. Benji Tyson was last known to be in Red Lodge in 2009 before she disappeared. And since then, no one has heard from her. I found out what friends are doing to bring more attention to the case.
It was shocking to hear.
It was 15 years ago that communication with Benji Tyson fell silent.
It's just her parents deserve closure.
Tyson, then 32, was traveling with her boyfriend and living in a motel in Red Lodge, but she always made an effort to call her son.
And I think the thing that strikes is, all contact ceased.
Carbon County Sheriff Josh McQuillan says Thanksgiving of 2009 was the last time family heard from Tyson. In January of 2010, her dad called Billings police to report her missing after going too long without hearing from her.
Just began that process of trying to track her down.
But as days turned into weeks and weeks turned into years, few leads emerged.
Throughout that, we have traveled out of state and interviewed folks.
McQuillan says deputies were told many stories about what could have happened to Tyson, including that her boyfriend dropped her off at a truck stop during an argument. But all leads ultimately led to dead ends.
At this time, it's still considered a missing persons case and no suspects.
At the end of 2024, Tyson's family finally filed to have her pronounced dead after over a decade of no activity on her phone, social media, or any new leads in the case.
Everybody's frustrated with not being able to have an answer for what happened.
Even so, no one is giving up efforts to find her.
How I found out about Benji was to another classmate friend that had posted about the story.
Her classmates from Illinois are doing their best to share her story across the U.S., hoping to reignite attention to the case.
You can't find anybody to say a bad word about Benji. She was amazing.
Family and friends holding out hope that one day they'll learn what happened to Benji Tyson.
Try to bring our girl home and bring some answers.
If anyone has any information on Benji Tyson's case, they are encouraged to call the Carbon County Sheriff's Office at 406-446-1234. We'll now send it over to meteorologist Miller Robson for a first check of the weather.
Some very nice temperatures coming up, Haley, so it's going to be big changes for the weekend.
And we did just hear that the Bozeman Pass is now reopened, correct?
Yeah, we were just double checking that, and then we even went and looked at the webcam, and we saw a truck going through, so both lanes now, west and east, are going.
Perfect. Well, drive safe out there, everyone.
Yep.
Thank you so much. I'm Hailey Monaco. Billings police officers are investigating a shooting that occurred late last night on King Avenue West near Shiloh Road. Police Sergeant Sutton says officers were dispatched around 10:40 last night to a shooting in the 3900 block of King Avenue West. According to Sutton, a fight broke out at an unofficial car meet, and at least one person discharged a firearm several times. A vehicle was shot. The suspects fled the scene, and the investigation is ongoing. Gallatin County leaders have decided to stop working on a plan to team up with the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE. The original proposal, ICE had requested 10 beds at the Gallatin County Detention Center to temporarily house inmates. Marcus, thank you. We now know what caused birds to die in the Bighorn River back in February. Fish, Wildlife and Parks wardens say the cause of the mass mortality event is starvation. FWP collected mallard, geese, and shorebird carcasses from near the Bighorn Fishing Access Site. The carcasses were tested for avian flu, but they all tested negative for that. After more testing in Wisconsin, starvation was the only consistent ailment found in all sampled waterfowl carcasses. They also say a high number of birds led to more competition for limited food. In addition, extreme cold made the search for food even more challenging. To hunt in Montana, you must have a license and proper tags for the species you're planning to harvest. If you're hunting with a youngster, well, that can be a lot more paperwork to manage. But the 2025 Montana legislature made it a lot easier because now you just have to take your phone along. You can now carry all your hunting licenses on one mobile device. The My FWP app is simple to use, and it allows access to all your licenses, hunting, fishing, and conservation. Plus, you can download your tags as well.
It's a free mobile app that allows people to carry their hunting licenses digitally throughout the year. And as long as you download them while you're in service, then you can use that app and you can validate your licenses whether or not you are in cell coverage. And so it's a really convenient way to carry your licenses. Most of us were carrying our cell phones with us all the time anyway, and so this is just a way to simplify that process for people.
The person who filled the tag will still need to validate it. This allows mom or dad to carry that tag with them until it's needed. When Lockwood High School added junior ROTC, they became just the third in the state to do so. But this year, they're breaching another milestone by adding archery as an extracurricular option. Then, on top of that, the team won at nationals. Our Charlie Kleps talks to the team about the success they're bringing back to home in this morning's Positively Montana story. Here at the Parkman Bar, they've been gathering donations of food, water, money, anything they can to help give to those fighting the elk fire as it continues to grow.
It's hard when you're, watching your livelihood go up.
As the fire rages through Sheridan County,
the wind picked up and pushed it our direction,
and smoke filled the sky. Donations piled up at the Parkman Bar and Grill.
So anything we can do to help, they're our friends, they're our family.
Cooking food and packing bags.
We know everybody in the area and who's going to be impacted. And we saw it coming down the line, and our hearts just went out to everybody.
Owner Patricia Kaywood knew what she had to do to help those trying to stop the flames as the elk fire grew to over 6,000 acres and evacuation started. The fire is now much larger.
My husband works for the Forest Service, so he's working on it. My brother, our friends, our neighbors, everybody's coming together to help try to control what situation is going on.
Just down the road in Dayton, high schooler Colton Schwinn escaped the flames with his 3 dogs.
On my family ranch, it's up the canyon. I had to get my dogs and our 4-wheelers off of the ranch before it came close. Right when I was around leaving, you couldn't really see the sky too much, only this way because of all the smoke. And you could see all the fresh flames coming up over the little hill from the fire spreading.
An agonizing wait for his parents to gather important documents and turn on sprinklers, hoping to protect their home.
I am very scared for the people who are fighting it, and I'm very grateful for the community because I've seen probably about all my buddies' dads go out there and fight it for them.
A community coming together to fight the fire.
We're here to help them.
In Sheridan County, Hailey Monaco, MTN News. Deputy Carrie Angel was one of the first to enter the Harshman home shortly after the 911 call Monday. What she describes is something no one could have imagined in the small town.
17 years. 17 years at the sheriff's office and working crime scenes, and you don't ever expect anything like this.
A small town shattered in an instant.
We're worried for the living and we're mourning for the dead at the same time.
Sheriff's Deputy Angel was a few blocks away from the Harshman home when she got the call, never anticipating the scene she would walk into.
We entered into the home. Driving home, I went back to the one little girl who was actually still alive and administered first aid to her. Held her, stood there with her till EMS arrived and took her and continued first aid.
5 total people with gunshot wounds, 4 of them young girls, all under 10 years old.
This could have been any town USA. It happened to be Byron's turn. Unfortunately, this could have been any family.
32-year-old Tranielle Harshman shot her 4 daughters before turning the gun to herself.
I would encourage people to be very careful before they label this situation, as horrible as it is and as tragic as it is.
And as the community comes to grips with the loss and many questions still remain, Bighorn County Sheriff Kenneth Blackburn urges compassion.
We don't know the states of mind and what all goes into this. I think it's important we look at mental health and a lot of the other circumstances. I think it's more important at this time to unite as communities throughout Montana and Wyoming.
The first responders on scene also working through what they witnessed.
We've all been there for each other. Talked about it, cried together.
We do have some of the top critical incident debriefing teams in the state of Wyoming. We are moving forward to make sure that we take care of them in the best fashion possible and give them our utmost support for the sacrifices they've made, which don't always include physical injuries. A lot of times they're injuries of the heart.
In Wyoming, Hailey Monaco, MTN News.